Welcome to another edition of the Go Noles podcast. I'm your host, Gregory McCoy. This podcast is by a fan for fans. I am not a journalist. I am not a reporter. I am not an insider. I do not work for a website. The majority of my content comes from me, in my opinion. Other information comes from the internet. Big win over Louisville. We lose a lot of key players. The backups come in and perform admirably. As I said in the instant reaction, I didn't have a lot of confidence in Tate Rodemaker to come in and do a good job, with the exception of the interception. He played pretty well. You got to get a man credit. The majority of the backups came in and played well. I felt like the run defense, particularly up the middle, got exposed with the absence of Lovett. DBs, to me, got exposed. Johnny Wilson, every week it seems like it's a different receiver stepping up to be the main guy. And I think that trend is going to continue. I like how they started off the beginning of the game against Louisville, getting Cam McDonald involved. Like I said in the instant reaction, I think when he goes to the pros, he's going to be very special. I think he's not being used correctly by Florida State. At the time of this recording, I don't know what's the status of the injuries that we sustained against Louisville. You would hope that the majority of those guys could come back. In my opinion, when Jordan Travis was walking off the field, it didn't look that serious. I mean, he was pretty much walking on his own without the crutches. I think that was just a precaution type thing. He had a similar type injury last year, and he sat out a game. I want to say it was the Wake Forest game, and he came back healthy, so hopefully it's not that serious. We take on Boston College this week. They've sustained a lot of injuries. They're really not that good, but I'm not going to sit here and act like we're Florida State from 10 years ago. Anything can happen. It was a close game last season, 26-23. I got the score right this week. They like to run the football. They got a defensive-minded head coach. So, they're going to play good defense. Their quarterback is mobile. They got a very good receiver. And it was a close game last season, so it's not going to be a walk in the park. The good thing for us is a home game. I feel like we can win it. I feel like it's going to be another close game. We got to do something about our field goal kicker. He is not good. I think he missed all his field goals in the game against Louisville. We can't have that, especially chip shots. I can see if you're missing from 55 and beyond. I can live with 55 and beyond missing, but anything under 50, no. Your average college kicker should be able to make anything from 50 yards and in. So I just can't sit back and accept that. The coaching in the Louisville game was pretty good. The decision making in that game was pretty good. I don't like the I don't know what you call them, tunnel screens. I don't like those plays. I think eventually you're going to play a team that has a very good defensive coordinator that's going to be looking for that. I just think you need to be a little bit more creative in the screen game. I would love to see Tua Philly on some traditional screens. I would love to see Tua Philly on some traditional screens. I would love to see Cam McDonald running drag routes. Because I feel like if you put a linebacker on Cam McDonald, he's going to run away from him. So I would love to see him just run vertical between 5 and 10 yards and just drag across the middle. And just see what happens. You've seen the separation. You've seen the speed when he got the ball. I think it was the first or second play of the game against Louisville. This guy's a playmaker. You got to give him the ball. He's just another weapon, another asset on offense that is not being utilized. Okay, we've acknowledged that Johnny Wilson, Pokey Wilson are the 1-2 at receiver. Okay, but then you got to sprinkle in Pittman and a Deebo Samuel type role. You got to sprinkle Deuce Spann in there as another deep threat. You got to sprinkle Portier in there as another deep threat. You got to sprinkle Malik McClain as, Johnny Wilson, wannabe. Because he had that impressive touchdown catch in the back of the end zone also. I mean, I think we can genuinely say that there's been a culture change at Florida State. I think last year, after the LSU game and this Louisville game, last year we would have lost those games because we just didn't have the culture that we have now. You can just see that it has changed, that the players are fighting. And you go back to the beginning of this podcast, December 2019, and that's just one of the things that I was saying. The Norvell's biggest challenge was getting these guys to buy in. And it's taken 2020, 2021, and now you're in 2022. You had to get rid of a lot of guys. But this team is buying in. And, hopefully we can keep this thing rolling, man. Hopefully we can keep winning and we can get our guys back. And this is what I was scared of before the season started, was the injury bug. I just knew from the opening game, that we were not in the best strength and conditioning shape. And I'm not taking a shot at the strength and conditioning coach Storms. I know it takes years to get to the Alabama level in terms of strength and conditioning. It takes years to get to Ohio State and Clemson. Those teams looked supremely well conditioned, and it takes years to put out that type of player. But being in shape, it don't take that long to get in shape. And our guys routinely just look gassed out there. That's just my opinion. At least on defense, we look gassed on defense. And so I don't know what you need to do in the off season, but I don't think that tour of duty stuff is working. Because the players just look gassed at the end of games. They do. And that's just my opinion. I could be completely off base. I just watch the games. I'm a fan. I'm not an expert. I'm not an analyst. I played high school football. Okay, that's the end. That was the end of my football career's senior year in high school. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm the world's foremost expert. It's just my opinion, guys. Okay, and the players look gassed at the end of games. They look like it is hard for them to finish the games, and the kicking game is gonna catch up with you eventually. Either Fitzgerald gotta start making kicks, or you gotta get him out of there. It's really that simple. There's no alternative here. He's got to start making kicks, or you got to get him out of there. He missed all his field goals in the Louisville game. There's no excuses. That's gonna come back to bite you. Okay? Cause Tate Rodemaker came back, had a good game. but you can't put it all on his shoulders yet. So I don't know what I'm pretty much, I'm not going to say okay with the injuries. The only genuine concern that I have is Darius Washington at tackle. I've said this on many occasions on this podcast. He's not a tackle. And he's damn sure not a left tackle. If anything, you move Turntine to left tackle and put Darius Washington at right tackle. I would feel more comfortable with Darius Washington at right tackle than left tackle. Okay? And honestly, I would feel more comfortable with you putting Julian Armella at right tackle and moving Turntine to left tackle. That's just my opinion, but Alex Atkins doesn't like to play freshman for some reason. So, it is what it is. I mean, we just going to have to live with the results. I just, Boston College is going through the injury bug also. So I don't want to say this is a game where you can get away with resting players, but, I don't really consider them a Clemson type threat. I think we can go out and win a close game against Boston College if we have to rest players. I really feel like we can. I feel like this team, through playing two good teams, not very good teams, two good teams. And a lot of people on social media saying Louisville ain't. Louisville is a good team, bro. They are well conditioned. They're way better conditioned than Florida State. Okay? And they play very hard. And for Florida State to win that game, I didn't think Florida State was going to win that game. And particularly in the first half, that game could have got away from you. And those guys kept fighting. Because Louisville could have went up by a couple scores. And the refs helped you out too. You can't overlook that fact. Because like I said in the instant reaction, there were several plays by Florida State that should have been flagged that wasn't flagged. Now, I'm not complaining. For once, the referees are on our side, and I'm happy about that. But, that game could have easily went the other way, easily. And Louisville could have been up by at least 2 touchdowns from what I seen. So we're lucky. Through the last 2 games, we've been lucky. We could easily be 1-2 right now. We could easily be 1-2. So you gotta clean up the mistakes, man. You gotta clean up the mistakes. You gotta, if Tate Rodemaker is gonna be the guy, you gotta give him some easy throws. You cannot depend on Tate Rodemaker to make that Johnny Wilson 69-yard pass. That's not the position you want him in. Okay, you want him to play and not think. Thinking is when he throws picks. Okay? I would love to see him doing screen passes to a Philly. I would like to see him throwing little dinks and dunks to McDonald. And then every once in a while, you go up over top to Johnny Wilson. But I will say that Mike Norvell, to me, has turned the tide as far as the culture. Now, it's only 3 games into the season. We're not going to sit here and act like this is Florida State of old. But the effort is that's Florida State through and through. Through 3 games, this team has played with the trademark traditional Florida State effort. And as a fan, that's all you can ask for. Never quit. Never stop playing hard. Go hard. I don't know if it's 48 or 60 minutes, whatever it is in college football. This team has played hard as they can for 3 games. And if they play with that type of effort for the whole season, you're going to win. You're going to win a lot of games. And you know what I'm saying? I have to give Mike Norvell credit where credit is due. He has done, you know, a tremendous job at changing the culture. And it took 2 years. It wasn't an instantaneous process. Some coaches can go into programs and do it instantly, but they have to have national championships on their resume when that happens. Urban Meyer, a Nick Saban. You know, you have to have that caliber of coach. Even Lincoln Riley. Okay? He's the type of guy that can go in and change a culture day one. Because he's got Heisman Trophy winning quarterbacks on his resume. He's got college football playoff appearances. So, you know, kudos to Mike Norvell. It took a little bit longer. Okay, Florida State was a different kind of animal in terms of changing the culture. You had to get a lot of bad apples out of the program. Now I feel like you got a really good football team. And it's even showing up in terms of the depth that you have at other positions, because the backups came in and played all out. Like I said, out of all the injuries that we had, the most concern that I have at this point is left tackle. I feel like Darius Washington is an interior lineman, not a tackle. But if you have to play him at tackle, I would play him at right tackle. He cannot play left tackle. He cannot play against the best pass rusher. And to put him in that position is to put this team at a disadvantage. And you cannot do that. You cannot afford to do that. So many times throughout his career at Florida State of playing either tackle position, left or right, he's been victimized. His best games as a Florida State Seminole has been at center or guard. So I'm just hoping and praying in practice they can make those adjustments, you know. Or we can just get Robert Scott back. I'm not a big Robert Scott fan, but I will take him over Darius Washington at tackle any day of the week. Okay. And I'm not, trying to disrespect the man, disrespect the guy, but it's football. And, I'm pretty sure he's a great guy, but at tackle, he's not a good football player. He's an interior lineman. So that's just my opinion. To me, I think he's better than Maurice Smith at center. I actually think Darius Washington is a better center than Maurice Smith. That's just my opinion. I think he's a little stronger than Maurice Smith. I think he's a little bit more athletic than Maurice Smith. But the interior of the offensive line has played very well. I have no arguments with that. Now, with the absence of Lovett at defensive tackle, that run defense up the middle got exposed because Louisville was gashing you. And Boston College generally has a humongous offensive line, and they like to run the ball, in those A gaps. And that's what they're going to do. And really, Louisville could have won this game if they would have just kept running the football. They tried to get all cute with Malik Cunningham. All you had to do was keep running the ball downhill. Florida State couldn't stop it. You was getting 5 yards a clip. You could have literally won this game with that play. The dive play up the middle. But they just stopped running it. They wanted to be cute on offense and they lost. So, hey, I'll take it. I'm not sympathizing with Louisville at any point. But I'm tremendously thankful that my team is 3-0, man. It sure beats the heck out of being 0-3 and having acid indigestion for a whole week. Because if you love your team and they're 0-3, you sick, man. You sick. Last season, I've been sick for the last 6 years, bro. I've been sick for the last 6 years. We all know what Florida State used to be. And look at it, you know what I'm saying? Look what we've become. Okay? Minus this year. Look what we've been for the last 6 years. A joke, a laughing stock. That hurts. You know, we had a 28 game winning streak at one point. Okay? We had all those top 5 recruiting classes in a row. And to go from that to just being a punchline, that hurts. And then watching these Clemson Tiger fans jug and, tease us and mess with us for the last 6 years. I mean, oh my God. It hurts, man. My cousin is a diehard Clemson Tigers fan. You think he ain't been talking junk? He didn't talk junk last season because it was a close game. But every game before that, talking stone cold killer talk. So, we got a long way to go. We got a lot of stuff to clean up. But, like Mike Norvell said, it's all about what we do. It's all about our effort. It's all about how we prepare. It's all about our mindset. And that, to me, is a tremendous message. Okay? He should have had that mantra, that motto, day one walking in the door. Okay? But he has it now. And that's what you can control, is how you prepare, how you play, and how you think throughout the course of practice, throughout the course of a game, throughout the course of being off the field. And that's it. And like I said, you got to get that offensive line straightened out as far as what you're going to do at left tackle. And you got to get that run defense up the middle fixed if we don't get guys back from injury. Then I think that we can beat Boston College. I've watched some of their highlights. They're outside of the quarterback and the receiver. I don't see anything special. But at the same time, it was 26-23 last season. So you can't go into a game saying, okay, we're going to come in here and roll because we're 3-0 and we're Florida State. We ain't proved nothing. You got to keep playing hard. You got to keep going hard. And then, the rest of the stuff will take care of itself. There's always a dark side of a fan base. And, if you are a Florida State football fan and you follow any of the Florida State Facebook pages or Instagram pages or, message boards or things of that nature and other Florida State content providers, you see some of the dark side of this fan base. And it's just, they're not happy when we're winning national championships. They're just never happy. It's always going to be get rid of the coach, fire the coach. After the national championship, I remember when we beat Auburn, man, just getting on Facebook and getting in some of these groups and messages. People were not happy with winning the national championship. So it's just certain sections of this fan base that you're never going to make happy, no matter what. Yeah, you could just tell them we're going to go, 13, 14-0 every year. We're going to be in the playoff. We're going to be in contention for a championship. They would not be happy. So you can never please that kind of fan. So, when I get emails from those type of people, I don't even respond, man, just because you're not going to nothing's going to make them happy. Winning, losing, destruction of the universe. I don't know what they want. You're 3-0. It's an ugly 3-0. It's an ugly 3-0. It's not a pretty 3-0, but you're 3-0. You were sitting at 0-3 last season this time. And you could be 1-2 right now. If the ball bounces, if the ball literally bounces the other way. Because the last two games have come down to one play. And we've made that one play to win the last two games. And as a Florida State fan, that makes me uncomfortable. I'm not going to lie. But we were on the other side of that coin last season, where we lost games that we could have won. The ball just didn't bounce our way. And I don't know if the injury bug is going to come back and bite us in the next couple games. I hope not. I hope we can get our guys back. But, like I said earlier, it's all about what Mike Norvell is preaching in terms of culture, and from your starters to your third stringers, what are you teaching them? To be ready for the moment. Your time is coming. And that's how you have to prepare. And from the looks of it, from what we've seen in this Louisville game, these guys are buying in. And, the tide, no pun intended, might be turning. And that's a beautiful thing. I mean, because, it's been a long time. I wasn't, when the season started, I wasn't penciling Louisville in as a win. I wasn't penciling in LSU as a win. But to start out beating those two teams is tremendous. So, Boston College was one of the teams that I penciled in as a win when I looked at the schedule in the offseason. So, I'm hoping that I can be right. I had us, after 4 games, I had us at 2-2. I'm just going to be honest about it. I had us at 2-2, a win over Duquesne, a win over Boston College. And I was just thinking in my mind, okay, if we can make it to the Clemson game, 4-2, I would be happy with that. But, it's a tremendous thing as a fan for your team. You just listen to how I'm talking, man, as a Florida State fan. Listen to how I'm talking. We 3-0 and I'm acting like we Charlotte, bro. That's how I'm treating my team. I'm acting like we the Charlotte 49ers at 3-0, man. We're just happy to be here. We're a young upstart program. That's how long it's been, man. That's how long it's been. Since we done had a taste of being undefeated after 3 games. It's crazy to feel like this. Man. But I know that the as good as the effort has been through the first 3 games, it's not gonna get you to where you want to be for the whole season. It's just not. We have to come out and play better. We have to come out and put teams away. We have to be more consistent in everything that we do on the football field. And the play calling has got to improve. You have to utilize your players. You have to, basically what I'm saying is you have to put them in better positions. Coming out, getting McDonald involved, Cam McDonald involved was tremendous. And he's a playmaker. Okay? Finally getting the ball to Johnny Wilson, a 6'7" fast guy, was tremendous. So we just gotta keep finding our groove. Like I said, I need to see Tua Philly on some screens. I need to see Michael Pittman more in a Deebo Samuel type role. Okay. And, I think the sky's the limit for us. But you gotta keep it going. Whatever you're doing now, you gotta double it. You gotta triple it. You gotta go times 10 and keep pushing and keep fighting. And hopefully we'll have a great season. So with that being said, that concludes this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It's available on YouTube. It's available on all podcast platforms. And as always, go Noles.